Welcome to the Summer Escape Series with SingerLewak, your ultimate guide to making the most of this season. Today we're talking about the fantastic outdoor adventures Northern California has to offer. Joining us are three guests who live in NorCal. With us we have Marketing Manager Laurie Leer, Partner Vera Kryukova, and Partner Cindy Wiseman. Get ready for an engaging conversation about family fun, breathtaking landscapes, and exciting activities that you won't want to miss. Let's jump right in.
We have Vera and Cindy on the line with us today to talk about the podcast and the Northern California eats and fun things to do. Vera, do you want to introduce yourself and then Cindy afterwards?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Vera Kryukova. I'm a tax partner in South San Francisco office. I'm not native to San Francisco Bay Area. I came here over 20 years ago, so you can consider me to be somewhat familiar with the area.
Hi everyone, I'm Cindy Wiseman. I'm here, an audit partner here in our San Jose office, and I actually was born and raised here in the Bay Area.
So we're going to jump into first kind of talking about what we do outdoors in Northern California. I know growing up in Modesto, I always found it fun that we could either go to the snow to the, an hour up that way, or we could go to the beach, it's, 2 hours that way. We could go to the lake, or we could go to the city and watch a ball game. So Northern California is sort of centrally located where you can do a little bit of everything in any kind of climate. So it is a fun area of California to be in. So for outdoor adventure planning, what are some of the fun things that you two do outdoors, especially in the summer?
I have three kids. They are 13, 10, and 5. So finding activities that everyone can enjoy can sometimes be tough. And our summers pretty much revolve around keeping them busy and entertained. But like Laurie, you mentioned, there's just like a lot of things to do around the Bay Area or close to the Bay Area. One of our family favorites is going to Santa Cruz. We go at least once a year. We love the boardwalk. There's the rides and the games for the kids. And then there's the beach, of course, which is right next to the boardwalk. And my kids could play in the sand like all day. Another thing in Santa Cruz that I know young kids enjoyed, or my young kids enjoyed, was Roaring Camp Railroad. So there's even like a train ride that leaves the boardwalk and kind of takes you through the Redwood Forest.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there's also a bunch of like hiking trails and small local parks. Near me, there's like Vasona Lake and Shoreline Park where you could rent paddle boats. There's lots of like flat hiking and biking trails.
Very nice. Yeah, that train tour. They did one with the little train that could. What's his name?
Oh yes, Thomas the Train. We did
Thomas the Train. Yes, I took my daughter after Sunday church. I was all dressed in my church best, and I was like, "We're going to go out to the Thomas the Train today." She was like 3 years old, and we had so much fun. I was hot in my heels walking around on those rocks, but that was a lot of fun. That Thomas the Train thing in the Redwoods. What about you, Vera?
Well, interestingly enough, I also have three kids. Mine are a little older. It's 16, 10, and 8. And our activities are also revolving around keeping them busy. But during the summer, we're trying to get them away from the area because to spice up their life, to get them to see places. So this year we are going to a week to Yosemite region. There is a little gated community called Pine Mountain Lake. We actually do it every year. For a week we rent a cabin because I'm not a big fan of camping, but I would rather prefer glamping. Mm-hmm. So we rent a cabin. It's just family and a lot of kids, and there is a lake, and it's hot, and they spent 24 hours outside just because the houses are structured that way that you are always outside. So there is a lot of hiking trails, and again, paddle boards and little boats that you can rent, and kids are just running around because it's very safe. There is no one outsider that you can be worried about. So we don't see the kids the whole day pretty much when we go there. So that's an amazing place. Well, when we are in the area, we tend to prefer beaches, which is San Mateo Beach is a great one. It's not far away from us, and kids can enjoy themselves and play in the sand, and our older one can hang out with her friends. There's also Half Moon Bay area where we have various activities for the kids. Number one, starting with Lemos Ranch, I think it's called. Yes, Lemos Farm. And also some brewing companies around that there where parents can hang out. And of course, beaches where you can take a stroll, where you can enjoy some sun if it's not too windy or not too cold. The area is very tricky. I was always amazed when in one day I would be in my puffy jacket and then 2 hours later I would be in shorts.
or you go in shorts and you're like hot, right? And then all of a sudden it gets freezing cold and you're like, oh my gosh, you gotta bring a change of clothes with you when you go to San Francisco. You got to bring pants and a jacket just in case it decides to drop 30 degrees. So
you have to have your wardrobe in your car trunk.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yes, very true. Very true. The only other spot I would mention, and we did this last year, we went to Bodega Bay, which is not too bad of a drive, actually, if you're in San Jose. But we got a camping spot out there right next to the beach on Bodega Bay. It was an adventure because it gets really windy there at night. So, like, our tent was just blowing like crazy. And we only lasted 3 days. 3 days of camping sleeping on concrete floor is enough for me. But we did do some fun stuff. We were able to do some crabbing, and we, purchased a crab net. That was super fun. We didn't know how to eat them or even cook them, but we did catch a few. But we did have a really good time. My daughter then told me later she didn't really like camping and sleeping on the ground, but that's my little diva for you. So good stuff. Good stuff.
All
right, so
Bodega Bay is great place for just day picnics and oysters.
Absolutely. I heard about the oysters. Yes. We wanted to do that the next time we went, do the oyster thing, because that does sound like fun. Okay, so let's jump to California and Northern California cuisine. I actually don't eat out as much as I used to back in the day, so I can't remember any certain spot that I just like go and eat in Northern California and have great cuisine, but the one spot that always jumps out at me if I'm in San Francisco, of course, the clam chowder bowl. You always got to go to Boudin and get the sourdough bowl with amazing clam chowder and lots of butter for your sourdough bowl. But I didn't say that part. That's so bad for you, but so good at the same time. The other spot that I love, it's in Little Italy, and it's called Tony's Pizza. I love that spot. It's the best pizza I've ever had. And they do like meatballs, and it's scrumptious. It's so good. What are some of your favorite spots, Northern California, to get a good meal or whatever that may be?
Well, I have in San Francisco. There are a lot of interesting places because our cuisine and cultures are so different. And you can find pretty much any type of food in San Francisco. So one of my favorites is Red Door or Red Window. It is in Little Italy, but it is actually a Spanish cuisine, which was a very interesting find for us personally. I also really like sushi that is scattered around South San Francisco, San Bruno, and Millbrae, and it's called Amami. There are three three brothers who own these places, and they are absolutely amazing. People drive here to our area from East Bay and South Bay to just eat there, and it's not possible to make a reservation. It's a real life line. So it's basically a hole in the wall where they serve the freshest and most amazing fish you can find.
I'll have to try that spot out. I haven't heard of that.
I would give them a Michelin star for sure, just because of the quality, the presentation, and just a combination of all of it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yummy. Cindy, what about you? What's your favorite spot to pick up a good meal?
I don't know if there's a one favorite spot, but like Vera mentioned, like the cuisine in the Bay Area I think is very diverse, like a melting pot of all different types of cuisines from the world. So like just in the downtown where I live, there's just one street lined with a bunch of restaurants where you can find dim sum, Indian, sushi, Spanish tapas, fusion, and it's like, so whatever you feel like that day, you can find it there. But one of my favorite places to get tacos is actually a food truck that's like right down the street from me. It's called Ches Taco, and I love their al pastor tacos. But like everyone else mentioned, when I think of California cuisine, I think sourdough bread bowls with clam chowder, or like fresh local ingredients like avocados and avocado toast.
Absolutely. And then you also have the what are the artichokes? What is that area? It's not Galt, it's Gilroy, right? Gilroy has the artichokes. Yes, that's so good. I always like to stop through there on my way to the wine country and pick up some artichokes in Gilroy. Very cool.
Gilroy is also famous for garlic and anything garlic, true. Even garlic ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah, and you smell it when you drive in too. You know, you smell the garlic when you're driving through Gilroy. It's just funny. It's funny, and it's such a hole in the wall spot too, Gilroy. You know, like you don't even know you're going to come across it till you smell it. Oh, we're in Gilroy. You know. But yeah, totally. And then that's a good spot if you're on your way, which we'll kind of get into next about, beer and wine and stuff. If you're on your way to the wine country, like Paso Robles and those spots, that you usually end up driving through Gilroy on your way and picking up the garlic and the artichokes. And, it's definitely gotten a little more pricey in that area since it's gained its popularity. But Paso Robles is a cool spot to stop if you're going to go to a state fair or do some wine tasting or whatnot. And they do some great music festivals there in Paso Robles too. Have you attended any in the summer or any that you can recommend for this summer that you might have tickets to?
So we do go to the Shoreline Amphitheater, and this is going to sound silly, but our family favorite is going to Kids Bop Live.
Nice.
And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's just a bunch of kids that sing and dance and perform to like current pop music. So a bunch of our friends who have small children as well, we all go get lawn seats and we just let the kids run around the lawn and dance and sing, and then while the adults sip on drinks. I think it's a good time for the whole family.
Yes, the Kid Bop. I know, I'm very well aware of Kid Bop. Yes. What about you, Vera? Any events or festivities you've kind of attended in the summer here in Northern California?
Actually, there are quite a few that I'm aware, and we try to go every year when time allows. So first one is Outside Lands Festival in Golden Gate Park. This is the biggest independent music festival with different types of music, and it's going to be August 9th through 11th this year. And it's a lot of fun to just bring your blanket, some, snacks and drinks, and just hang out and listen to various types of music. Again, kids will run around, of course. But this is one spot. Then in Napa Valley, there are a lot of festivals, different types, different styles. Not necessarily all of them are kids friendly, but for adults, this is definitely our go-to. And we love hanging out in Napa Valley during summer, in general. I know that there is going to be some music festivals around July 4th in Napa and Calistoga. Also, I really like, we talking about Paso Robles, there is a Field of Lights called Sensorio. I highly recommend to go. This is my favorite place in the area. I got trip there as a birthday present from my husband, and I wish all of my kids and all of my relatives were there. It was so amazing. So definitely recommend to go there. But yeah, and there are a lot of picnics. You just need to follow your friends and family Facebook pages, and you will get tons of announcements of various festivals and picnics. For example, my family, part of my family is from Ukraine and has Ukrainian roots, and we follow Ukrainian community web pages, and there are like 2 or 3 picnics in July and August with Ukrainian music, Ukrainian food, all of that stuff in Palo Alto and San Jose. So basically just follow the community you live in, and they will, you can find a lot of different outdoor activities.
Very cool.
I agree.
So, kind of circling back to Napa and, the wine that obviously California, and especially Northern California, is known for its wineries, and Napa Valley, and what is that, Calistoga, I believe, is right next to it. You have the Castillo de Omarosa, which actually kind of became a headline a couple of years back because they did have that fire, but that's a beautiful spot to visit. It's this old world castle that they, built new, but it looks really neat. I am not a big beer drinker. I don't know a lot about craft beers or breweries. My husband is big on them. He loves a good brewery to order an IPA or whatever, but I've never liked beer. I just think it all tastes the same. And I don't like to drink it, but I will go for a good glass of wine. Do you ladies have any sort of insight on craft beer and breweries or great wine spots to stop and get, a little wine tasting or cheese board or anything like that?
Well, like you, Laurie, I'm not really into beer, and my husband isn't really into beer either, so I haven't really explored that craft beer scene, but we do love wine. And I know you mentioned Castillo de Amorosa. We actually just went there last year, and it was awesome. And we took the kids. So, while we did wine tasting, the kids had their own little tasting of the grape juice that they had there and the chocolates, and they had a good time exploring the castle as well.
Yeah,
another winery that I went to for the first time this year that was a little bit closer to San Jose. I think it's in Cupertino. It's called Bittervich Vineyards, and they had a really good Cabernet, and it's at the top of the mountain, so it had awesome views of the Bay Area.
Very cool. What about you, Vera?
Well, I know a lot of places in Napa, Calistoga, and locally that can offer a wide variety of good wines and champagnes and, sparkling wines, since we are in America, not in France, and actually beer. What was a surprising find for me is that here in the area, in fact, in Palo Alto, there is a bare bottle brewing company who actually have subscription service for their beer. It's like you become a member of the brewery, and you go there once every quarter to pick up your beers and enjoy a free beer on the house, and you get you get a glass. So it's a very fun thing. I do not drink too much beer, but I definitely enjoy it. And especially having some interesting events or interesting things like subscription to the beer. That was something.
Yeah. Most beer places don't do that. It's only the wine places. Totally.
Exactly,
that is pretty neat. I'm not telling my husband about that. He'll definitely sign up for that. Yeah.
Yes. And also, I think I already mentioned that when we go to Half Moon Bay, there is the Half Moon Bay Brewing Company. This is one of the very few breweries that have unusual beer, which is for example, buckwheat beer was a total find. It was amazing. I didn't realize how tasty it can be. It reminded me of our visit to Belgium when we had to try at least 250 types of beers. So that was, very interesting find as well. And I also, talking about Castillo de Amoroso, they actually have a sister winery called Visa Tui. It's the same owners. And what's interesting about Visa Tui, that it's more of a community winery. What it means is you go there, you have your tasting, and then you go outside, and there are tables and picnic areas where you put your blanket down or you get a table. You buy some amazing local food and snacks in their store right on the property, and enjoy it with their wine that can also be purchased. So, and they also have a lot of events. They have concerts. They have local musical bands performing. So it's a very fun place to be.
And that's in Napa, Vera?
Yes,
as well.
It's Visa too. It's the last winery.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Very cool. Very nice.
Actually, well, it's Napa, San Helena. I think it's the last winery in San Helena.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing winery. I love it. This was the very first winery I ever visited since I came to United States, and it remained my favorite for over 20 years. And now we actually have subscription to that winery. So me and my friend, we order our favorite wines like every 2-3 months, and we're not keeping them long. They are gone in no time.
Oh, that's awesome. I know. Good, especially a good wine in the summer, like a good white wine that's been chilled. And you just sit there with a little cheese and cracker board. Oh, man. Dreamy. Absolutely dreamy.
Yes. I actually know about one more winery, which I also like because it's good with kids as well. Because, there are not that many places where kids are welcome in Napa and Calistoga. But there is a winery called Klein, and they have a sister winery, Jacuzzi. So Jacuzzi is more adult-oriented. By Klein, there is a lot of outside spaces where you can sit and enjoy, wine while kids are running around. And there are fish in their pond which kids can feed, and there are some animals scattered around the property that kids can pet and go visit. And there's a garden. You can actually pick your pumpkin during fall. So it's just an amazing experience and very family friendly.
Absolutely. Well, talking about, wine and beer and good eats and all of this stuff, you would think we don't have any outdoor fitness and wellness, but we do. We do get outdoor and have fitness. I feel like Californians are probably the most committed to fitness and wellness. I know I have been to the Monterey half marathon. That is not in the summer. They do that in November. Probably one of the best half marathons you can do if you're getting into running or want to try your first. It's right along the coast. It's beautiful there in Monterey. But what are some of the things that you two do to sort of stay fit in the summer? Because it obviously gets hot, and it's hard to be outside. But you can always go up to San Francisco where Vera's at and get cooled off a little bit. But what are some of the things that you do in the summer with your family and stuff to stay fit?
So, kids are out of school, so they have a lot of energy, and you basically run around the whole day on top of, work hours. So it's very hard to, just stay in the house. You have to do something. Otherwise, your house may not survive the summer.
Exactly. Go outside.
Yes. Actually, we have to. My kids kind of force me to go out and walk. Just walk, and it's not hot in the area where I live. We rarely get anything above 90, even on hottest days in summer. So it's always comfortable to just walk and spend time outside. And it's we have hills in our area as well, so it's not that easy of a walk. But if we get bored, we can always go to the bay, and there is a trail around the bay where you can walk like 5-10 miles or bike 5-10 miles.
That's also a fun thing to do if you're into running or into fitness, is to run those piers. A lot of people do that. What about you, Cindy? How do you keep fit and well in the summer?
We take family walks as well, whether it's around the neighborhood at our local park, or we also do bike rides. We have the Stevens Creek Trail that's near us, so we bike that sometimes. And then when it gets really hot, it's not really fitness, but it's outdoors. We go to an amusement park called Great America, which is nearby, and it has a water park. And so we have a season pass, so we go there maybe once a month to just get outside, go to the water park if it's too hot, which it is a little warmer in the South Bay versus the city. And there's also, I've done this once, but I know on Santana Row, every Saturday morning, they have what's called yoga on the row. And so that like Lululemon and puts on there's a yoga thing in the morning. So I did that once a few years ago, but I know that I just saw an ad for it the other day, but there's that.
Yes, the yoga in the morning thing, that is a fun one to get out in nature and practice your breathing for sure. They do a lot of that up here in this area too, but I have yet to participate. I always say I'm going to participate, but I have yet to do it, but that's very cool. What are some things to be financially prepared to do things in the summer? Cindy, did you want to address that? Tips for managing.
Sure.
How can we pull that together in the summer?
Sure. I mean, I can share what my family does. So every year we kind of look at our finances. We allocate our funds into 4 different buckets. So we start with the first bucket is all our standard monthly bills, mortgage, utilities, childcare. And then next, we kind of allocate a set amount that we feel comfortable setting aside for savings, whether it's like 401k or other types of investments. And then the next bucket we allocate to vacations and trips. And one year could be like a few small trips, or one year it could be a big trip. Like last year we did a few small trips like to Yosemite and down to Southern California. Whereas this year we're going to do one big trip that's international. But each year we set a set amount just for vacations and trips. And try to stick to that as best as we can. And then anything after that goes into the 4th bucket, which is, so just anything else like extra shopping or whatever.
Is there anything else you want to add about, summers in Northern California, or any other financial advice you wanted to throw out there before we wrap up this podcast on promoting Northern California?
Well, usually people unless you are from Europe or Asia, you are not coming to San Francisco for pleasure much, because weather doesn't really allow you to be a summer tourist. There are some places, of course, in San Francisco to see, but majority of the trips are happening because of conferences, business trips, etc., etc. So I would say that you need to carefully plan your trip. And once you do, the way to do it is basically create a plan. So let's say you arrive on Monday, you meet with partners, your strategic, I don't know if it's investors or suppliers, whatever. Then, 1 or 2 days can be for just browsing around the area. And then basically some more meetings along the time you're here, and that way you can make your entire trip a tax deduction for the company. Also, keep the receipts. Always keep the receipts, regardless of you're going to use it or not. If it's even if it's business, non-business related, sometimes those events. Or some events can qualify as business events, even though you never thought of it. So that is my constant advice to all of my clients when they are traveling, not just in summer, in regular, in other seasons as well.
Yeah, that's good advice, especially to hold on to those receipts, because we definitely need our tax write-offs in California. So loud and clear on that point, for sure.
I do have one more financial advice for families with kids. It is extremely important to plan your child care for summer way in advance. It's very expensive. And if you do not reserve your summer camps or various summer activities, by the time you are in a late spring or summer, they will be extremely expensive. So I start with my family. I start planning our summers in January and looking for camps and looking for various discounts and applying for, some families can apply for financial aid. So you have to do it in advance. Same with schools. If you're if you're going to a new school, planning to change the school, you need to do it way in advance, not wait until the last moment, especially in California.
Very nice, ladies. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and to share about, your summers and your families in Northern California. It's obviously I've grown up here, and Cindy, you as well. And Vera, it sounds like you've made yourself right at home there in San Francisco. So I appreciate your time, and we'll catch you up next time on the podcast for Oregon. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for joining this episode of The Summer Escape with SingerLewak. We hope you're inspired to explore the outdoor wonders of Northern California and make unforgettable memories with your loved ones. Thank you to Laurie, Vera, and Cindy for sharing their insights and favorite spots. Don't forget to subscribe to the Balancing Act podcast for more summer tips and adventures, and join us as we continue our journey to the state of Oregon. Stay tuned for that episode next month. Until then, happy adventuring.